5% of all deployed U.S. warships are now in the Caribbean with the arrival of the USS Gerald Ford, the newest and largest warship in the U.S. Navy's inventory, joined by dozens of other warships, including guided missile destroyers, have a few guided missile cruisers in there, Lake Erie, USS Iwo Jima, an amphibious assault ship, of course, loaded out with 2,000 Marines in full combat load. All taking place, of course, just here off the coast of Venezuela. And don't forget, we have B-52 bombers from Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana. We have fifth-generation F-35 fighter jets in Roosevelt Roads, Puerto Rico over here. That's an old naval base that has been shuttered for many years now.
We have Trump saying that he sort of made up his mind after officials met for 3 days, thinking of options of attacks on Venezuela. This is coming as United States forces are now in position for an attack. At this point, they're just waiting for the order. We also have reports that they're going to intensify their military maneuvers with Trinidad and Tobago from November the 16th to the 21st. They're going to be holding some major exercises, and they're going to get used to each other's operations near Venezuelan territory as they're getting ready to attack, of course. And we also got reports that there was a Russian military spy ship spotted just 15 nautical miles from Hawaii. We got Trump once again confirming that he's about to conduct nuclear tests. He has ordered nuclear tests as his camp is kind of freaking out and trying to talk him out of it. But this is what he said: the United States will test nuclear weapons like other countries do. When he was asked about exploding a nuclear warhead, he said, "I don't want to tell you about that, but we will do nuclear testing like other countries." Which is pretty well because, like I said, his own officials is trying to talk him out of it right now. As a U.S. expert is warning Europe about Russia by saying a limited nuclear war is no longer impossible. We also got Russia warning NATO once again, as NATO saying they're getting ready to strengthen up their defense against Russia because of the drone incursions. They are warning that if NATO attack their country, Russia will respond with all of its capabilities. We also got a Canadian spy chief warning that Russia and China are targeting them and have been targeting them for years. China's not only advising their citizens to avoid travel to Japan right now, but we also have China threatening to attack Japan over their statements over Taiwan. So shit's really heating up over there. This is the latest. Got a live coming next.
History. Somewhere over these blue waters, history is repeating itself. For the first time in decades, U.S. bombers are flying near Venezuelan skies under the same old pretext: fighting drugs. But beneath that label lies a plan we've seen before. In recent weeks, American B-52s have traced paths close to Venezuelan airspace. Naval fleets patrol the Caribbean, and drones have struck boats near Venezuela's coast, killing at least 27 people. Washington calls them traffickers. But there's no trial, no proof. Only lethal force beyond any international law. Across Latin America, outrage is growing. Human rights groups, from the New York City Bar to global observers, call these actions illegal. They echo one message: no one, not even a superpower, can play judge, jury, and executioner at sea. The pattern looks familiar. Create a threat, frame a mission, and deploy force. 20 years ago, it was weapons of mass destruction. Today, it's drug traffickers. Different map, same script. The world is watching another blueprint unfold. This time over the richest oil ground on the planet, and silence now means consent. Share the map. Speak the truth. History doesn't have to repeat. Not if we trace the lines before they...
Shalom, shalom. First off, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, Yahweh being true name, Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being named for his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Jesus Christ. I want to give honor to our apostles, honor to our elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and will. And salutations to you, hopefully, like pushing this truth and honesty and sincerity. This is Brother Yahweh Sop. Come with you now, listen to the Spirit Power, Yahweh Shai, giving another update in times and events. As you can see, this war between the United States and Venezuela is building up at an all-time high. Okay, and ultimately, this is also going to be building up to the war between the United States and Russia. All right, because Russia gets a lot of oil from over there, from Venezuela. They have influence there between there and Cuba as well. Because check out this other video as well. Click, I'm going to share with you.
Russia just sent a heavy cargo plane to Venezuela. And not just any heavy cargo plane, they sent the Wagner Group. The Wagner Group is a mercenary group that is sent to do high unalivings. They go in like the fucking boogeyman. They're worse than the CIA and the KGB combined. And I need you to understand how bad this is, and this is how bad they're getting ready to fight us. The route that heavy cargo plane took was a route that it skipped all Western nations, okay? It went through Armenia, Algeria, Morocco, Mauritania, and then Senegal, and shot straight to Venezuela. No detection. There are 50 aircrafts and about 200 military personnel on that flight. A day after the United States of America hit 4 boats in the Pacific Ocean.
All right, so there you go, man. Russia's got its military over there as well, ready to back them up. You know, and this is a gigantic presence from the United States in this region that they've set up, because they sent 25%, okay, of their naval force has been deployed over there. That's a huge, huge amount of military presence. And you don't just do that for a drill. Something about to pop off. Okay? You know, and the reason why is because the United States wants that key spot for the oil. And more than likely what will end up happening is they'll set up a coup, okay, because there's already tensions between certain parties in Venezuela and Maduro. Well, they'll just basically set up an appointed president from the United States, which means the U.S. took over. Okay? But with Russia getting involved, it may not go down like that, man. It might be a fight. It might be a fight, man. You know, but it's all about getting that oil. Those oil reserves, that's huge. Because you got the oil reserves that's over there on the eastern part of the world, in the Middle East. Massive amount of oil. But what's in Venezuela is way more than that. You know, and the United States doesn't have a piece of that pie of that oil over there. They tried to get a whole lot of it with the war with Iraq. But the Iraqis, they burned up their oil fields before the United States could really snatch up a whole lot of it. Yeah, they got a little bit of it, but they didn't get as much as they needed. You know, so Russia is a big partnership with all the Middle Eastern countries over there. You know, to get the oil that they need. So they have heavy influence, Russian influence and control is over there. It's not controlled by the United States. So, you know, Esau Edom is all about control. So he wants to have a piece of pie over here on the Western Hemisphere. Okay, which he's going after all the nations in South America. You know, and country by country, one by one. You know, he's not gonna be satisfied. They'll end up ousting Maduro and then set up a small hat in his place, just like they did in Mexico. You got a small hat running that country. Okay?
Somewhere over.
So, you know, this is this devil's MO. He gets down like that, and you can just see through these videos of what really is at play here. Ultimately, when it comes to war, there's no type of rules involved, or NATO, or you can't do this, you can't do that, and everybody else can come to the rescue. Hey, and war is war, man. People kill to take what they want. And that's just where it's at. They want them oil fields, man. So they want that control in that region over there. All right? The book of Jeremiah 15:22 says, "A sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction." So we're hearing of huge wars taking place. World War III is about to hit pretty soon, man. You know, as soon as they push out this mark of the beast, they make that and they decree it to be mandatory to get, or you get penalties and put in jail, or possibly the death sentence. You know, that's when this Third World War is going to fully kick off and go nuclear. But lead up to that point, you're going to hear of different battles, different smaller proxy wars that's going to be going on, and it's just going to increase on you know, the scale of great amounts Okay? Piece by piece until the whole thing pops off. This is Revelation 11 and 14. It says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right? So the second World War, which is World War II, woe 2 is past. The third woe cometh quickly. So the third World War is upon us. This is prophecy. It will take place. Matthew 24 and 6, it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. So all these things have to happen. These wars and, we're hearing of wars and actual wars taking place. They have to happen. But the end isn't yet. The end is when the missiles go off and Yahushua cracks that sky, man. You see the great father shit. All right, but you're going to hear of wars and you're going to hear rumors of them. It says it must come to pass, so they have to happen. Okay? Can't avoid it. This is Habakkuk 2 and 5. It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So Esau, Edom, as long as he's in power, he's going to continue, attacking countries unprovoked, or creating an excuse to attack, like he's doing, saying is quote unquote drugs. Because there is drugs, but it hasn't been an issue until the United States demanded the oil, and they said no. So they said, all right, we're just going to take it then. Because they've been allowing drugs to go through their country, and then the United States have known about it going directly into their country, and they just turn a blind eye to it. Why? Because they got a piece of that pie. When it comes to something else, when they want more, and somebody doesn't want to negotiate with them, they want to take it by force. Okay? For all these decades, you mean to tell me they could have do some type of war on drugs and stop it. You don't even need that much military presence to knock it off, too. But all of a sudden, now you got to stop the war. You got to stop the drugs. As soon as the information comes out that Venezuela has the largest oil reserve. You see how this devil operates, man? Okay? Cannot be satisfied. He gathered all nations, he put unto all people. So, yeah, he did. He enslaved literally every nation that's on this earth has been in slavery under the so-called white man. Okay? Gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So he goes in every one of these countries, slaughters the leaders, and changes the name of some of the lands to himself. But this devil's going to be brought down by the Lord. So Obadiah 1 and 5 says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Right. This guy doesn't, he continues to just steal, man. He doesn't steal till he had enough. He can never have enough. That's why this man's got to go down, man. That's why Yahweh Shai has to come back and take the kingdom. Verse 6 says, how are things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Right. There's a lot of exposure coming out on this country's, demonic politics and sick, rituals that they do, sexual rituals and shit, man, and involving, doing things to what they call underage women, with Jeffrey Epstein, the files coming out. Okay, the hidden things are being sought up. Okay, so the Lord is really starting to build up the judgment on this place. And that judgment is going to be via World War III. You know, so keep watch. Pay attention, close attention to what's happening in Venezuela. We're going to see what's going to happen, man. If you hear about them ousting Maduro and all of a sudden another president gets into power that the United States helps put in there, just know that they volunteered to, you know, not want to smoke, and they allow the United States to control that nation. If that happens, that's exactly what's going on. Venezuela will be officially in the pocket of the United States, okay, which is ultimately Esau, Edom, Amalek. All right, but if you see more reports of fights start to go down and it doesn't go as planned, just know because Russia's backing them up. So it can fizzle out that way too. But ultimately, these are different things that are leading up to the Third World War. You know, you saw in the video, they mentioned, you know, China and Japan, you know, tensions between them are getting heated. I just read an article today. China's warship was just cruising through Japanese waters. They did that as a show of force. Why? Because China eventually wants to invade Taiwan and do what Russia's doing with Ukraine. So that's it, man. We're at the end, so we're going to continue to hear a lot of these wars happen and build up. All right, so with that, Lord's will, let's edify. I'm going to close out. Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Shimi Al-Shai, by Shema Kakadash, double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstone, Natasha's truth and will well, citation to hope like truth and all sincerity. Shalom.